We are back. Obviously we've just cut out the body roughly and the time has come to move on. The next stage, and of prime importance, is to have a centre line. Now the guitar we're building is obviously one of our Robert Fripp models and also very obviously based on the Les Paul, and I've over the last decade or so made many templates with the centerline all marked out and all of that. We're obviously coming, I'm obviously saying obviously too many times, for which I apologise. Come on. Alright, now generally by this point I will already know where the centerline is, because on most guitars they are made out of two pieces, and at this stage it tends to have a top on which is book matched, and the book match is the centerline. However, this guitar is a one piece and we're going to have to draw it on. Somewhat incidentally, I tend to use 2H pencils. They're hard and precise, but not hard enough to particularly damage the wood you're working on. Okay, good straight edge, centre line, and we are away. Normally the stage where I will route the final body shape out is before a top is glued on, and as you can see I tend to screw the template directly to the bodywood with short screws. This is not going to happen in this case, seeing as we don't have a top. Since I can't bolt my template direct to the body, because I won't have a top to cover the screw holes, I'm going to use good old double-sided tape and some clamps. Now this is a very expensive, rather frightening piece of wood to be working with, and I'm not going to take any chances. Double-sided tape is all well and good, and 9 times out of 10 it holds perfectly. However, there is a chance of it slipping. Put it on. This is very good quality but fairly standard carpet layers double-sided tape, by the way. I'm making sure I push it down quite nicely with the flat part of my scalpel handle and remove those off like so. Now there is a chance of some slight movement, and that is not good, so I will also be clamping the opposite side of the guitar down to the bench with 2 clamps, just to make sure that nothing at all moves. How's that? I've completely missed. What a fool. That's a better place. With 4 points of contact, there is practically no movement on that. If you want to make absolutely certain, then remembering where each piece is, clamp down with a little bit of mechanical pressure. and that will ensure that your template does not move. Frankly, that doesn't even need clamps to hold it down. If I was using a pin router, I would be happy with that now. This is where a good bench comes in. Mine has, they're called dogs, and that sits one end, the other sits there, and hold your guitar in like that. Clamp. So the time has come. Let us make some more dust. I'm obviously using a template. I'm still saying obviously. I am making a template. No, crikey, I am making a guitar with a template. I'm going to be using a bearing cutter on my router, and the bearing follows the template and makes an exact copy of the template. I used to use a guide bush that sits in there, which means that your template has to be made a certain amount smaller or bigger. Smaller. It was a long time ago. And it's more difficult that way, having to work out everything has to be 5mm smaller, and it's annoying. So this way it's a 1-to-1, and you can always buy more bearing cutters. Now let us get this fit. Now, because of the double-sided tape and the propensity for this to slip, I am going to put a second clamp on. It is much better to be safe than sorry. It is a cliche, but it is true. Like mountain climbing, 2 or 3 points of contact, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this case, and nothing is going to move. So we have our template firmly attached and our lovely large router. Push it down until the bearing cutter lines up with the template, and make absolutely certain that that is pushed down and that your router bit isn't going to pop up, because if that pops up as you're putting pressure on it, you, I'm afraid, are going to cut too much of your body away and destroy your template in the process. So that is all lined up and will be working perfectly. You must wear goggles and ear defenders, and for sanity I would also suggest some headphones piped into some good music. And that is what I'm going to do right now. Now that I've done the first part, I need to, if possible, take this template off. Tools, where are you? Aha! There we go. Sheffield. Cutlers to His Majesty. Cutlers to His Majesty. Old Sheffield. Alright. This will help me get that off. Okay, now removing that will make this all a little bit more stable for me as I finish the routing. So, with the template removed, the rest of the surface is much more stable than it was when I've got these holes that the router was sitting on. And I can finish. The trick when routing this sort of thing is to go very slowly, very carefully, and to take as little wood as you can off. So cut with the bandsaw as close to the line as you can and take it off in 2 or 3 passes. I probably should have used this router bit, which is obviously not as deep and would have taken less off, just as a safety measure. But this is nice soft wood and I thought I would get away with it, and I did. Now I'm going to take the next section off, and instead of running on the template, I'm going to be running on the guitar itself. Here we have it. Routed out and looking like a guitar. Now I just thought I would show you, give you a preview of what we're expecting here. That is going to be a stunning guitar.